Today, we are diving into a really profound philosophical story. It's a parable about three incredible forces that clash over the very nature of existence itself. It's a story that pits connection against total destruction, all to figure out the ultimate price of absolute freedom. So, the story kicks off with this really heavy warning from this kind of timeless voice. It's basically telling us, hey, slow down, pay attention. The wisdom we're about to uncover isn't something you can find by rushing through life. It's about really thinking about our place in the world. And this is the question at the very heart of the whole story. I mean, we all think of freedom as the ultimate prize, right? No rules, no constraints. But this parable just throws that whole idea on its head and asks something pretty challenging. What if total, absolute freedom isn't just a fantasy, but actually self-destructive? Okay, to really get this, we need to meet the main players. And they're not really people, they're more like living ideas. First up, you have the ancient steward, who is the guardian of connection, of the web. Then, in the other corner, you have the frantic spark, a spirit of pure denial that wants to cut every tie. And trying to find a balance between them is the luminous weaver, a force for restoration. So the steward's entire worldview is built on this one critical idea, the not I. What is that? Well, it's everything that isn't you. It's other people, the world, your job, your challenges, all of it. He argues that the self, the I, can only understand itself because of the not I. It's the friction that lets you move, the context that actually gives your life any meaning. And here, you can see the two philosophies just laid bare. They couldn't be more different. The steward sees all of existence as this giant, interconnected tapestry, a web of weird. But the frantic spark, he looks at that same web and just sees a prison. For him, the self has to be absolute, and the only path to get there is to cut every single thread. The spark's whole ideology even has a name: Anti-Taffendlung. And this isn't about just ignoring the web. It's about actively destroying it, unmaking it. It's this deeply cynical idea that true freedom doesn't come from building things up, but from burning everything down. You can see why the spark's offer is so seductive, right? It promises this ultimate shortcut to power. You don't have to deal with the messy, complicated world of the not I. You just have to destroy it. It's a dark bargain for sure, one that promises you'll become a god through total annihilation. But the steward isn't in this fight alone. He calls on a champion, the luminous weaver. And she represents a completely third path, a way to respond to the spark's fire that isn't about fighting destruction with even more destruction. Her whole approach is on another level. She doesn't fight fire with fire. Instead of burning, she shines a light, revealing the truth of the spark's negativity for what it is. Her true power is patience, what the story calls the runes of weight, and she just slowly, methodically reties the connections that the spark is frantically trying to cut. The frantic spark, though, has zero patience for any of this. He sees her deliberate, slow method and just thinks she's weak. So in one final desperate move to get his absolute freedom, he decides to end the whole debate, once and for all. And this is his final terrifying promise. He's going to burn away the entire external world. Every person, every mountain, every bit of context and resistance. He truly believes that in the empty void that's left, his I will finally be pure, absolute, and totally free. And for a moment, it actually seems like he's done it. The world is nothing but ash. The web of weird is gone. He stands completely alone in a silent void, thinking he's finally won. There's nothing left to get in his way. And right here, at his moment of triumph, the whole story flips on its head. He's hit with one devastating question. The spark defined his entire being by his movement, his struggle against the web. So now that the web is gone, what's there left to push against? The weaver gives a name to his catastrophic mistake, the Fichtean error. It's the huge philosophical blunder of believing that yourself is this separate thing that's just being held back by the world. But the truth is, the self is created by its interaction with the world. By destroying his context, the spark actually destroyed the very thing that made his own existence possible. And the consequence is just chilling. The spark's entire nature is to burn, to destroy. With the entire not I completely gone, all that destructive energy has no place to go. So it does the only thing it can. It turns inward. you can just watch it unfold in these horrifying steps. First, all the friction of the world just vanishes. Then, with nothing to push against, his famous frantic motion just stops. His own fire, with nowhere else to burn, starts consuming him from the inside, and finally, he petrifies. The spirit of pure energy becomes a cold, lifeless object.
So he gets his final form, but it's not some absolute god. It's the Steinfeuermann, the stone fireman. He's become this perfect, awful monument to his own failure, frozen as a hollow gargoyle of soot and regret, a permanent warning to all.
And the ancient steward returns to deliver the simple truth that the spark just couldn't accept. We need the world. We need that resistance. We need those connections. We need that context, not just to live well, but to exist in any meaningful way at all. And that's the ultimate lesson of the whole parable, etched in stone. The very thing the spark saw as his prison, that web of connection to the not I, was actually the only thing holding him together and giving him life in the first place. You know, for such an ancient story, it feels incredibly relevant today, in a culture that's all about radical individualism. And it leaves us with a really big question to think about. In our own lives, how much of that web can we cut away in the name of personal freedom before we too risk turning to stone? Where do you draw that line?